Have you ever noticed this strange paradox? The harder you try to control your life, the more chaotic it seems to become. You plan everything to the minute. You prepare, overthink, double-check, believing that control is the key to peace. But despite your efforts, things still slip through your fingers. Unexpected problems, broken routines, disappointments, they just keep coming. It's exhausting, frustrating, and deep down, it leaves you wondering, why isn't this working? Here's the truth most people never tell you. Control is an illusion, and calm is your real power. That's the foundation of Stoic wisdom. And in this video, you're going to discover 11 Stoic lessons that will help you master the power of calm, not just as an idea, but as a daily advantage. These aren't abstract theories. They're time-tested strategies that helped real people survive the unthinkable and thrive through chaos. And there's no better way to begin this journey than with the story of a man who lived through hell and emerged stronger. Let me introduce you to James Stockdale. James was a U.S. Navy pilot. He was a man of discipline, a master of routine, trained to operate in high-pressure situations. He had control over every detail of his aircraft, every move in the air, every mission he flew. But one day, in the thick of the Vietnam War, everything changed. In just seconds, his aircraft was hit. There was no time to strategize, no time to escape. He had to eject, instantly, parachuting into enemy territory with nothing but the clothes on his back and the thoughts in his mind. And before he even hit the ground, he knew this wasn't a rescue mission. This was capture. This was war. The moment he landed, he was seized, dragged, beaten, humiliated. He was no longer a pilot, no longer a man in command. He was just another prisoner. And that was just the beginning. James Stockdale would spend the next 7 years, yes, 7 years, in captivity, locked in isolation, starved, tortured, deprived of sunlight, of human connection, of freedom. Think about that. 7 days is enough to drive someone to the edge. 7 months could break even the strongest spirit. But Stockdale endured 7 years. So what made him different? Was it physical strength? Mental toughness? Superior military training? No, it was something much deeper. James Stockdale was a student of Stoicism. And in the darkest, most dehumanizing moments of his life, it wasn't survival instinct that carried him, it was philosophy. It was the mindset that no matter what was happening around him, he still had control over what mattered most: his thoughts, his reactions, his internal world. He remembered the words of Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, who once said, "It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them." Stockdale couldn't control the pain. He couldn't escape the beatings, the isolation, or the cruelty, but he could control how he experienced it. And that changed everything. Instead of sinking into despair, Stockdale chose resistance, not loud, angry rebellion, but quiet, unbreakable resilience. He became a leader from within captivity. He created a secret communication system to connect with fellow prisoners. He taught them how to resist mentally and emotionally, how to outlast their captors. Not through violence, but through inner strength. He told himself, again and again, "This doesn't define me. I am stronger than this." And he was. Years later, when he was finally freed and returned home, someone asked him a powerful question. How did you survive without losing hope? His answer was both simple and profound. I accepted the reality of my situation, but I never lost faith in my ability to overcome it. That right there is the heart of Stoic calm. It's not about pretending things are fine. It's not about avoiding pain or acting like nothing can hurt you. It's about facing reality fully, without giving it the power to define you. Let me ask you something. What's stealing your calm right now? Is it stress at work? An argument you can't stop replaying in your head? A feeling that life is out of control? Because if James Stockdale could find strength in the middle of unimaginable horror, then maybe we can all find a little more strength in the middle of our daily storms. Maybe we don't need more control. Maybe we need more calm. And calm isn't something that magically appears when things go right. Calm is something you build, especially when things go wrong. In the chapters ahead, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. We'll talk about how to stay composed when emotions flare, how to deal with uncertainty, how to train your mind daily, not just to survive, but to lead your own life from the inside out. Because if you can master calm, you can master anything. And like Stockdale, you'll discover a kind of freedom that no one can take from you, not circumstances, not people, not even pain. So if you're ready, let's dive in. Now that we've explored the truth that control is often an illusion, and that real strength comes from calm, let me tell you a story that brings this truth to life. It's not a theory. It's not a metaphor. It's a real story. One of unimaginable pain, unshakable resilience, and the power of Stoic philosophy in the face of total darkness. The story of James Stockdale. James was a U.S. Navy pilot, disciplined, precise, and in control. He was trained to handle high-stakes missions, to make split-second decisions under extreme pressure. In the cockpit of a fighter jet, Stockdale was in command. Every move, every detail, tightly calculated. But on September 9, 1965, that control was ripped away. His plane was shot down over North Vietnam. In just moments, his reality changed. There was no strategy, no escape plan. He ejected into enemy territory, parachuting straight into the unknown, alone. Before his feet even touched the ground, Stockdale knew he wasn't going home. The moment he landed, he was captured, brutally beaten, dragged through the dirt, treated like he wasn't human. And that was just the beginning. He was thrown into a prison camp, the infamous Hanoi Hilton. And for the next 7 years, not 7 days, not 7 months, 7 long years, he lived in a nightmare. Solitary confinement, regular torture sessions, no access to the outside world, no idea if he'd ever see his family again, no promise that he'd live to see another day. Can you imagine that? Most people in his situation broke. They gave up. Their minds crumbled under the pressure. And honestly, who could blame them? But James Stockdale didn't break. He endured. He led. He resisted. Not because he was physically stronger. Not because he had some superhuman pain tolerance. But because of what was going on inside his mind. James Stockdale was a student of Stoicism. And in that tiny, windowless cell, surrounded by fear, pain, and death, He remembered the teachings of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who once said, "It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them." That quote became his anchor. Stockdale realized he couldn't control the fact that he was captured. He couldn't control the torture, the isolation, or even whether he would live or die. But he could control something far more powerful: his interpretation, his attitude, his response. And that changed everything. Instead of letting his captors define him, he defined himself. He refused to give them control over his mind. He became the quiet leader of the prisoners. He created a covert communication system using knocks and taps on the walls, so the men wouldn't feel alone. So they could pass messages, comfort each other, organize resistance. He showed them that even when your body is in chains, your mind can still be free. He taught them how to withstand psychological warfare, how to preserve their dignity, how to outlast the enemy, not with weapons, but with will. And when the pain was too much, when the days blurred into hopelessness, Stockdale would remind himself, "This does not define me. I am stronger than this." It wasn't about denial. He wasn't pretending things weren't awful. He fully accepted the reality of his situation. But he never surrendered to it. Years later, when Stockdale finally returned home, someone asked him, "How did you survive? How did you not give up hope?" His answer was simple and profound. "I accepted the reality of my situation, but I never lost faith in my ability to overcome it." That balance between realism and hope is the essence of Stoicism. It's the mindset of those who thrive under pressure, those who face brutal circumstances, but don't let those circumstances control their spirit. And now I want to ask you something personal. What are you facing right now? What prison, literal or mental, are you stuck inside? Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's a relationship that's draining you. Maybe it's your own thoughts, spiraling out of control. Whatever it is, ask yourself, can you control it, or can you control how you respond to it? Because that's the shift. That's the power. Not trying to change everything around you, but mastering everything within you. Stockdale's story is extreme, yes, but it holds a universal lesson. You are not your circumstances. You are how you respond to them. And that response, that calm in the storm, is something you can build. Day by day, thought by thought, choice by choice. Because here's the hard truth. The world will not always be kind. Life will not always be fair. Pain will come. Loss will come. Chaos will come. But if you've built a strong inner fortress, if you've trained your mind like Stockdale trained his, you'll find that even when everything else is taken away, you are still in control of you. So, as we continue through these Stoic lessons, I want you to remember this. You don't need to wait until life calms down to become calm. You don't need to escape pressure to find peace. You can begin right now, wherever you are, by choosing to respond. Not react. To breathe, not break. To lead yourself, even when everything else is falling apart. Because calm is not weakness. It's leadership. It's resilience. It's power. And in the next part of this series, we're going to explore exactly why calm is your greatest weapon, not just for surviving the chaos, but for turning it into clarity, strength, and success. Let's keep going. Let me paint you a picture. You're behind the wheel of a Formula One race car. The engine roars like thunder beneath you. The tires are heated, gripping the asphalt like claws. You're flying down the straightaway, adrenaline pumping. Focus razor sharp. You're in the lead. But then, you hit the turn. It's sharper than you anticipated. The tires screech. The car skids. The steering wheel goes light in your hands. And in that split second, you have two choices. You can panic, jerk the wheel, slam the brakes, tense every muscle, or you can breathe, loosen your grip, trust the training, make a calculated correction, and steer through the slide. The first driver reacts out of fear. The second responds with calm. Guess which one finishes the race? That's not just a racing metaphor. That's life. Because life will always throw you off balance. Unexpected turns, sudden loss, frustration, fear, and in those moments, your ability to stay calm is what determines everything. Not your talent, not your speed, not even your intelligence. Your calm is your advantage. Your calm is your weapon. Most people think strength is about pushing harder, moving faster, dominating. But here's the truth. Power without calm is chaos. But calm under pressure? That's mastery. Author Ryan Holiday calls this a strategic advantage. He says the greatest leaders, athletes, and thinkers all share one key trait. When everything around them falls apart, they stay composed. They don't flinch. They don't panic. They respond. And it's not just philosophical, it's neurological. Let's talk science for a second. When you get overwhelmed, your brain activates a region called the amygdala. That's your fear center, the part that screams, run, fight, freak out. It's what causes emotional outbursts, impulsive decisions, and panic. It served us well when we were running from lions, but it's not so helpful when you're stuck in traffic, or facing a relationship fight, or making a critical business move. Now here's the good news. When you stay calm, your brain shifts gears. You activate the prefrontal cortex, the center for logic, planning, and decision-making. This part of your brain gives you access to clarity, not chaos. So when Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are disturbed by something external, it is not the thing itself that troubles you, but your judgment about it," he wasn't just speaking philosophy. He was describing brain science. 2.000 years ahead of time. Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great, but how do I actually stay calm in real life? When things are falling apart, when my kid is screaming, or my boss just blindsided me with a deadline? Here's the truth. Calm doesn't show up when you need it. It shows up if you've trained it. Think of calm like a muscle. If you don't use it daily, it won't be there for you during the storm. So how do you train it? Let me give you two powerful strategies. First, the observer technique. This one's simple, but transformative. Next time you're in a difficult situation, imagine you're not in it. Pretend you're watching it as a movie. You're sitting in a theater seat, popcorn in hand, watching you on the screen. Ask yourself, if I were giving advice to that character right now, what would I say? This small shift helps you step out of your reactive emotions and step into calm clarity. You move from panic to perspective. Second, practice calm in the small moments. Let's be real, if you lose your temper over spilled coffee, or traffic, or a cracked phone screen. What's going to happen when life hits you really hard? If you can't stay calm when the eggs fall off the counter, you won't be calm when the business fails, the relationship breaks, or the doctor calls with unexpected news. So use the little things as training. The next time something small goes wrong, stop, breathe, smile, say to yourself, "This is a rep. I'm training my calm right now." Because if you master calm in the little moments, you'll be ready for the big ones. Let me share something personal. A few years ago, I lost a major opportunity. It was something I had worked months for, something I believed would change everything. And just like that, it was gone. In the past, I would have spiraled, gotten angry, overthought every detail. But that day, I sat down, took one breath, then another, and I remembered something I had written on a sticky note above my desk. Respond. Don't react. That one sentence saved me from weeks of unnecessary suffering. I reminded myself, this doesn't define me. I'll learn from it, and I'll move forward. That moment changed how I live. It taught me that calm isn't something you wait for. It's something you choose, something you build. And trust me, the world notices. People follow calm. People trust calm. People need calm, because most of them are walking around stressed, reactive, and unsure. When you're the one who can keep your cool, you don't just lead yourself. You lead others. So, let me ask you, what's one area in your life where you're letting emotion steal your calm? And what would it look like if, starting today, you chose to pause, breathe, and respond? Because remember this, the person who stays calm when others panic, wins. The Stoics knew it, modern science confirms it, and deep down, you've probably felt it too. So let's build that calm. Let's train it. Let's live it. Because in this race called life, it's not always the fastest who wins. It's the one who knows how to handle the curves. And that is you. Let's move forward. Let's be honest. We've all had those days. You wake up early, feeling motivated. You've planned out your schedule down to the minute. You've got your to-do list. Your coffee's just right. Everything is lined up for a perfect, productive day. And then, bam, your boss drops a last-minute task on your plate. Your friend cancels dinner. You get stuck in traffic. You spill your lunch. Someone sends you a message that instantly ruins your mood. Suddenly, your perfectly crafted day is in shambles. Frustration builds. Your energy plummets. And you think to yourself, why can't people just stick to the plan? Sound familiar? Here's the thing. The problem isn't the chaos. It's our attachment to the idea that we're supposed to be in control. That everything and everyone should bend to our expectations. That if we just try hard enough, we can predict every outcome, shape every conversation, and avoid every bump in the road. But that belief, that illusion of control, is what creates most of our suffering. As Naval Ravikant, entrepreneur and philosopher, once said, suffering comes from the desire to control the uncontrollable. It's not the late email. It's not the traffic. It's not the person who misunderstood you. It's the part of you that believed those things weren't supposed to happen. And that belief is the trap. The Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. Epictetus said it plainly. Some things are up to us, and some are not. That sounds simple, right? But think about how much time we spend trying to control what isn't ours to control. Trying to fix people, trying to predict outcomes, trying to force life into a neat little box. And what do we get for it? Stress, anxiety, burnout. Because the harder you cling to control, the more the chaos of life pushes back. Now here's the powerful truth. The moment you let go of trying to control everything, you gain clarity. You begin to focus on what you can control. Your attitude, your effort, your response. And that shift, that surrender, is not weakness. It's wisdom. Let me share something that might surprise you. A research team at Stanford University studied how uncertainty impacts our mental health. They took 2 groups of people and gave each group a different kind of task. The first group had full control over the outcome. The second group had no control. The results were left to external factors. Then they measured stress levels. Guess what they found? The people who accepted the uncertainty, who didn't cling to control, had lower anxiety, better emotional regulation, and greater adaptability. Meanwhile, those who couldn't let go of control felt tense, overwhelmed, and mentally drained. So let me ask you, what kind of person do you want to be? The one who resists every curveball life throws at them? Or the one who flows with change, adjusts with grace, and stays calm no matter what? It's a choice. And today, I want to give you 2 simple ways to practice it. Challenge number 1. The "so what?" test. Next time something throws off your day, pause and ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Or even 5 weeks? If the answer is no, let it go. Don't let a 5-minute problem steal your peace for the whole day. Because most of the time, it's not a tragedy, it's just a moment. A spilled drink, a late meeting, a rude comment. These things only have the power you give them. Try this for a week. Every time you feel stress rising, stop and ask, "So what?" You'll be amazed at how quickly your mind re-centers. Challenge number 2. Controlled Chaos Day. Now, this one might make you uncomfortable, but that's the point. Choose one day each week where you don't plan anything. No schedules. No checklists. No, "I have to do this by 3 p.m." Instead, let the day unfold. Spontaneously. Naturally. Let things surprise you. Let people interrupt you. Let the rhythm of life move you. Why? Because your brain needs to practice flexibility. It needs to experience disorder and learn not to panic. We're so used to over-planning that we forget how to trust ourselves in the moment. This controlled chaos builds mental resilience. It teaches you to stay calm when your environment doesn't go your way. Because that's real strength, not in controlling the chaos, but in staying centered within it. Let me share a quick personal story. A while back, I was obsessed with control. I color-coded my calendar. I micromanaged everything. I believed that if I just worked hard enough, I could prevent anything from going wrong. But inevitably, things went wrong. A family emergency. A project falling apart. Health issues I didn't expect. And each time, I fell apart with it. Until one day, a friend told me something I'll never forget. They said, "You're trying to win a chess game in a windstorm. Maybe the game isn't the problem. It's that you keep trying to hold all the pieces still." That hit me, and it was then that I realized I didn't need more control. I needed more trust in myself. in the process, in life. Now, I still plan. I still care. I still work hard. But I've stopped trying to predict everything. And in doing so, I found peace. So today, I want to challenge you. Look at your life. Where are you gripping too tightly? Where are you resisting what you can't change? And what would happen if you let go? Not give up, just let go of the need to control what's never been yours to hold. Because freedom isn't found in force. It's found in surrender. And surrender isn't weakness. It's strength. It's wisdom. It's the Stoic way. Let's move forward together. Let me ask you something simple. When was the last time you paused, really paused, just to say thank you? Not in response to someone handing you a coffee or opening a door, but for your life, for your breath, for the little things. If you're like most people, that moment probably came and went, or maybe didn't happen at all. Because we live in a world that conditions us to always want more. A newer phone, a bigger house, a better job, a different life. But here's the problem. When your mind is constantly focused on what's missing, you stop seeing what's already there. Your brain becomes like a garden. And every thought, every focus, is a seed. If you plant negativity, complaints, comparisons, bitterness, don't be surprised when anxiety and frustration start to grow. But if you plant gratitude, appreciation, presence, awareness, you cultivate something entirely different. You grow peace. You grow clarity. You grow strength. And the science backs it up. Researchers at the University of California, Berkeley, conducted a study where participants were split into two groups. One group wrote down 3 things they were grateful for every night. The other group could write whatever came to mind, no guidelines. After just a few weeks, the difference was striking. The gratitude group showed increased activity in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for calm thinking, decision-making, and emotional regulation. Their minds weren't just feeling better. They were literally functioning better. Meanwhile, the group without gratitude showed no significant change. Same time, same effort, different seeds, different garden. Now here's where it gets deeper. The ancient Stoics understood this long before neuroscience did. Seneca, one of the great Stoic minds, once wrote, "It is not happiness that makes us grateful, but gratitude that makes us happy." Let that sink in. We often think, once I'm successful, then I'll be grateful. Once things calm down, once I get that raise, once I find the right relationship. But the truth is, happiness doesn't create gratitude. Gratitude creates happiness. It's not about what's happening around you. It's about what's happening within you. Let me give you an example. Imagine it's Monday morning. You open your eyes and the first thought in your head is, I need a break. I hate my job. I didn't sleep enough. Now fast forward 10 minutes. You stub your toe. You spill your coffee. You're late to your first meeting. And the day hasn't even really started. But what if, instead, the first thing you did was sit up, stretch your arms, take a breath, and whisper, "Thank you." Not sarcastically, not because everything's perfect, but because you woke up. You get another chance, another breath, another day. That shift alone changes your entire mindset. Suddenly the coffee spill is just a moment, not a crisis. The meeting isn't a mountain, it's just a task. Your day isn't ruined, it's just real life happening. Gratitude grounds you, and you don't need big reasons to feel it. You don't need fireworks or life-changing miracles. You just need presence. So how do we practice that? Here are 3 simple, powerful ways to build a habit of gratitude. 1. Start your day with, "Thank you." The very first thing you say in the morning, before checking your phone, before thinking about your to-do list, should be, "Thank you." Say it out loud. Say it like you mean it. Say it like someone who knows that being alive is not something to take for granted. It might feel silly at first, but trust me, it shifts your entire energy. You're not starting your day chasing lack. You're starting it standing on abundance. 2. End your day with 3 good things. Every night before bed, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big. In fact, the smaller, the better. Maybe it's a delicious cup of coffee, a kind text from a friend, a moment of laughter you didn't expect. When you do this, you train your brain to search for goodness. You wire your mind to notice beauty. And over time, you begin to experience your life differently. Not because the world changes, but because you change the way you see it. 3. Focus on what you have, not what you lack. Comparison is a thief. It steals your joy. It blinds you to what's already yours. If you constantly focus on what you don't have, you'll always feel like something's missing. Even if you double your income, even if you hit your goals, there will always be another target, another upgrade, another person doing better. But if you can learn to appreciate what's right in front of you, you'll start realizing that maybe, just maybe, you're already richer than you think. Let me share something personal. There was a time in my life when I had more material success than ever, and yet, I felt emptier than I'd ever felt. I was chasing, comparing, achieving, and no matter how much I had, it never felt like enough. It wasn't until I started practicing gratitude, intentionally, every day, that everything changed. Not outside, inside. I felt more connected, more content, more present, and I realized something. Gratitude doesn't mean settling. It means seeing clearly. It means being at peace while you grow, not only if you get everything you want. Because guess what? You'll never arrive at a point where life is perfect. There will always be problems, challenges, frustrations. But when gratitude becomes your mindset, those problems don't own you. They don't define your day. They don't steal your peace. So now, I want to challenge you. Before this day ends, take 60 seconds. Look around. Take a breath. And ask yourself, what's good right now? What can I be grateful for? Not someday, but today? Then say it out loud. Or write it down. Or simply feel it fully. Because in a world that constantly tells you to want more, gratitude reminds you that you already have so much. And that's not just a mindset. That's a superpower. Let's build it together. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Let me tell you a story that changed the way I see everything. A few years ago, a close friend of mine was diagnosed with a serious health condition. The kind that stops you in your tracks. The kind that makes you question everything. Before that moment, he was always on the move. He had goals, plans, ambitions, and like most of us, he believed that life was about going faster, doing more, pushing harder. But when the diagnosis hit, all that came to a sudden halt. His body was tired, his future was uncertain, and his mind? It turned against him. Every morning, he woke up with the same thoughts. What if this gets worse? What if I never recover? Why me? He spiraled. Days felt heavy. Hope felt far away. He wasn't just fighting an illness, he was battling his own mind. Then one day, in the waiting room of a hospital, something changed. He heard a line from a podcast playing quietly nearby. It was Tony Robbins, and he said, "The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your thoughts." Something about that hit him deep. Later, when he got home, he searched for that idea, and found something even older. A quote by Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor of Rome. "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." That's when it clicked. He couldn't control his illness. But he could control how he thought about it. He could stop waking up and asking, "What if everything goes wrong?" And start asking, "What if something good comes from this?" So he made a shift. It didn't happen overnight, but he started doing one small thing every morning. Before getting out of bed, he forced himself to think of one positive thought. Sometimes it was as simple as, "Today, I'll enjoy a walk. Today, I'll smile with my kids. Today, I'll be grateful that I'm still here." And over time, something amazing happened. His situation didn't change, but the way he faced it did. He became lighter, clearer, stronger, not because the challenge went away, but because he no longer let fear write the script. That's the power of your thoughts. Your mind is like a filter. Whatever you focus on, you start to see more of. Your thoughts shape your reality, not magically, but mentally, because your brain is always listening, always learning, always reinforcing the stories you repeat. So the question is, what story are you telling yourself? Are you constantly thinking about what might go wrong? Are you surrounding yourself with people who drain your energy with complaints, fear, and blame? Or are you planting thoughts that lead to strength? Let me make something clear. This isn't about toxic positivity. It's not about pretending that everything is great when it's not. It's about choosing to think usefully, especially when life is difficult. Because, like Marcus Aurelius said, your thoughts aren't just background noise. They are the foundation of your peace, your decisions, your identity. So how do you train your mind to think better? Let me share 3 simple but powerful strategies. 1. Reframe negative thoughts in real time. We all have moments when a thought hits and drags us down. This is a disaster. I can't handle this. Everything is falling apart. But what if, right in that moment, you paused and said, "This is hard, but I'm learning something. This isn't ideal, but I'll find a way through. I've faced worse before, and I got through it." You're not lying to yourself. You're speaking from strength instead of fear. It's not about ignoring the pain. It's about choosing the perspective that empowers you to respond, not just react. 2. Guard your circle. Let's face it, negativity is contagious. If you spend most of your time with people who gossip, complain, or focus only on problems, you'll start thinking like them, even if you don't want to. But the opposite is also true. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, challenge you to grow, and see possibilities instead of limits. And your mindset will begin to shift. So ask yourself, who are you listening to every day? Are they pushing you forward, or pulling you back? Sometimes protecting your peace means limiting certain conversations. And that's not selfish, it's smart. 3. Visualize success before the day begins. Each morning, before the world crashes in with texts, emails, and headlines, take 2 minutes. Close your eyes and picture your day. Visualize how you want to show up. See yourself calm in traffic, confident in your meeting, patient with your kids. See yourself overcoming the challenges ahead with strength. Why does this matter? Because your brain doesn't always distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience. When you mentally rehearse success, you're preparing your nervous system to recognize it and act on it. This isn't daydreaming, it's training. It's like preparing your mind the same way an athlete prepares their body. Let me say it clearly. You don't attract the best by thinking the worst. You attract better opportunities, better people, and better outcomes by thinking in ways that support your growth, not your fear. So now, I want to ask you, what's one thought that's been holding you back lately? And what would happen if you replaced it with a better one? What if, instead of, "I'm not ready," you said, "I'll grow into it"? Instead of, "I always mess this up," you said, "I'm learning how to do it right"? Because that shift, that small, daily mental adjustment, could be the key to changing everything. Your thoughts are like the wind behind your sails. They can blow you toward peace, or toward panic, toward purpose, or distraction. So choose wisely, train intentionally, and remember what the Stoics already knew. The quality of your life will never rise above the quality of your thoughts. Let's think better, together. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed how two people can live through the exact same situation and come out feeling completely different? One sees disaster, the other sees opportunity. Same event, totally different reality. So what's the difference? It's not luck. It's not genetics. It's not some magical superpower. It's attention. What you choose to focus on becomes your reality. Let's be clear. Life is noisy. Every single day, we are bombarded with headlines, notifications, comments, opinions, most of them negative, urgent, or meant to hijack our emotions. And if you're not intentional about where your attention goes, you'll end up living in someone else's version of the world. Actor Will Smith once said, "To achieve success, you must learn how to ignore distractions." And he's absolutely right. Your mind is like a lens. And just like Instagram filters can make the same photo look dreamy or dramatic, your mental filters decide whether you see beauty or bitterness, problems or possibilities. So here's the truth most people miss. You don't experience life as it is. You experience life as you focus on it. Think about it. Ever had a bad morning? Maybe you spilled your coffee, got stuck in traffic, and suddenly, everything feels like it's going wrong. You stub your toe and say, "Of course." Someone cuts you off and you think, "People are awful." You get one negative email and assume the day is ruined. But the question is, did your reality get worse? Or did your attention just get stuck in the negative? Your attention is the gateway. It's the gatekeeper of your thoughts, your feelings, your energy. So if you want to change how you experience life, you have to change what you give your attention to. Here's how. Strategy number 1. Mental fasting. We're careful about what we eat. But have you ever thought about what you're feeding your mind? Every time you scroll through social media, binge the news, or get pulled into online arguments, you're taking in mental calories. Some are healthy, some are junk. And just like with food, if you're constantly consuming negativity, you'll start to feel sluggish, anxious, and overwhelmed, without knowing why. That's where mental fasting comes in. For just one day a week, try this. Don't check the news. Stay off social media. Avoid gossip, drama, or anything designed to outrage you. Instead, spend that time reading something that inspires you, listening to uplifting music, or having real conversations with people you respect. You'll be amazed at how much clearer, calmer, and more focused you feel. Because when you stop feeding the fear, peace has room to grow. Strategy number 2. Reset your attention daily. Life will always pull at your focus. So if you don't take time to reset it, you'll be reacting all day instead of responding intentionally. Here's a simple technique: the 3-minute reset. Step outside. Take a slow, deep breath. Look at something natural, a tree, the sky, a flower, and say, out loud if you can, right now, I choose where my attention goes. That tiny moment breaks the loop. Instead of spiraling into stress, you come back to presence, to clarity, to choice. And here's the science behind it. Your brain's default mode network, the part responsible for overthinking, quiets down when you engage with your senses. So when you ground your attention in the present, you're not just calming down, you're literally rewiring your mind to be more focused, less reactive. Make this a daily habit, and watch how your mental resilience grows. Strategy number 3. Surround yourself with energy builders. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling heavier? Like someone just dumped all their negativity on you? Now compare that to how you feel after talking with someone who uplifts you. Who talks about ideas, growth, possibility. Someone who makes you want to be better. Big difference, right? That's because attention is contagious. Spend time with people who constantly talk about what's wrong, and your mind will start scanning for problems too. But surround yourself with those who focus on solutions, and you'll begin to notice opportunities everywhere. So here's a challenge. Make a list of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Then ask yourself, do they lift my energy, or drain it? Do they focus on what they can control, or complain about what they can't? Do our conversations help me grow, or keep me stuck? It doesn't mean you cut people out completely. But it does mean you get to choose how much attention you give them. Your time, your energy, your focus, it's precious. Spend it wisely. Let me leave you with one final thought. We often chase big solutions, major changes, life overhauls, thinking that's what we need to feel better. But sometimes, it's not about doing more. It's about noticing more. Noticing what's already good. Noticing where your mind keeps wandering. Noticing how small shifts in attention can create massive changes in experience. Because in the end, your attention is your life. Where it goes, your energy flows. Where it lingers, your reality forms. Where it focuses, your future is shaped. So if you want to change your world, start by changing what you choose to see. Not someday, not when things are perfect, but now. Let's train our attention, Let's protect it. And let's point it toward what truly matters. Together. Let me start with a simple truth most people ignore. You can't pour from an empty cup. We live in a culture that glorifies hustle. Work late, grind harder, sleep when you're dead. Sound familiar? Somewhere along the way, we began to believe that the more exhausted we are, the more valuable we must be. That rest is a luxury, or worse, a weakness. But that belief? It's a slow poison. You see, the mind is like a whiteboard. All day, we scribble tasks, ideas, emotions, stress. By the end of the day, it's messy, noisy, cluttered. And without quality rest, that board never gets wiped clean. You wake up the next morning already full, no space for clarity, for creativity, for peace. You're not starting at zero, you're starting with a hangover of tension. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "Even the sharpest sword must be allowed to rest." Think about that. A sword, constantly in battle, will dull and break. Even the strongest tools become fragile without recovery. And guess what? You are no different. Whether you're building a business, raising a family, chasing goals, or simply surviving life's chaos, rest isn't optional. It's essential. Let's bring in some science. Your brain has a built-in cleaning crew. It's called the glymphatic system, and it works primarily while you sleep. That's when your brain clears waste, consolidates memory, repairs cells, and resets your nervous system. Miss sleep consistently, and you're not just tired, you're cognitively impaired. Your focus drops, your patience runs thin, your immune system weakens, and yet, so many people treat rest like it's optional, like it's something they'll earn after everything else is done. But here's a question. What if the reason you're struggling to do everything else is because you're not resting enough to begin with? I want to share with you 3 powerful strategies that can help you reclaim rest, not as an afterthought, but as a foundation for strength. 1. Turn off the noise. Protect your evenings. The average adult spends over 7 hours a day staring at a screen. And much of that, especially at night, is filled with blue light. Phones, laptops, TVs. It all tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime, delaying melatonin release, and disrupting your natural sleep cycle. Here's the result. You go to bed on time, but lie awake, mind racing, or you fall asleep but wake up tired. The fix? Create a digital wind-down ritual. Set a screens off time, ideally an hour before bed. Use that time for analog activities, reading a real book, journaling by hand, meditating, or just sitting in silence. Dim your lights. Turn on calming music. Make your space restful, almost like you're preparing a sacred environment. This isn't just about better sleep. It's about telling your body, I care enough to slow down. And when you respect your need for rest, your mind will return the favor with clarity, calm, and resilience. 2. Build rest into your daily routine. Rest isn't just something you do at night. You need micro breaks throughout the day to reset your mental state. The Stoics believed in intentional pauses, moments to reflect, breathe, observe. Today, we'd call that mindful rest. Try this. Every 90 minutes of work, take 5 to 10 minutes away from screens. Step outside, stretch, breathe, Observe something beautiful, like a tree, the clouds, the movement of light. This isn't laziness. This is maintenance. Your brain wasn't designed for non-stop input. It was designed for rhythm, effort, and ease. Push and pause. Even high-performing athletes don't train non-stop. Their growth happens between the workouts, during the rest. So ask yourself, what if my most productive moments actually come after my most restful ones? 3. Listen to your body like you'd listen to a friend. Most people ignore the signs of exhaustion until it's too late. But your body is constantly speaking to you. That tightness in your chest? Stress. That irritability with loved ones? Burnout. That forgetfulness, clumsiness, or brain fog, fatigue. The problem isn't that we don't feel tired. The problem is that we feel guilty for acknowledging it. But let me offer a different mindset. Rest is not the opposite of ambition. It's the fuel for it. It's not weakness. It's wisdom. You wouldn't ignore a friend who was clearly struggling. So why ignore yourself? One of the most powerful Stoic practices is self-discipline, but not just discipline to work hard. Discipline to rest well. Knowing when to stop is just as important as knowing when to start. So here's your challenge. Pick one evening this week and schedule it for nothing. No meetings, no work, no scrolling. Just rest. Whatever that means to you. Sleeping early, taking a walk, listening to jazz, or just watching the stars. Notice how different you feel the next day. Notice how much sharper your mind is. How much more present you are. Because when you learn to rest before you collapse, you rise stronger every time. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Let me close with this. In a world that tells you to keep going, to never stop, to always push harder, choosing rest is an act of rebellion, an act of self-respect, an act of power. You're not a machine. You're a living, breathing, feeling human being. You don't need to earn rest. You need to embrace it. Because a mind that is well rested can carry the weight of the world with grace. So tonight, don't just close your eyes. Lay down your burdens. Breathe deeply. And let your mind return to stillness. Because tomorrow needs the best of you. And the best of you begins with rest. Let me ask you something. How do you start your mornings? Do you wake up peacefully, with a sense of direction? Or do you grab your phone, scroll aimlessly, rush through breakfast, and dive into the chaos? Because here's the truth. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. The Stoics knew this long before neuroscience confirmed it. Picture two ancient philosophers, Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, waking up in the modern world. Marcus, the emperor, wakes to chaos, endless notifications, emails, headlines, demands. He reacts. He's already overwhelmed by 8 a.m. His thoughts are scattered. His focus? Gone. Now imagine Seneca. He wakes with intention. No phone. No distractions. He breathes, stretches, makes his bed. He asks himself, what do I want to embody today? He eats slowly. He visualizes the challenges ahead and how he'll face them with composure. Two men, same world, completely different realities. Why? Because one reacted, the other responded. And that's the power of a deliberate morning. Science backs this up. Studies from Harvard, Stanford, and the University of Nottingham all point to the same conclusion. People who start their mornings with intentional habits, even something as small as making their bed, report higher levels of focus, lower levels of stress, and greater life satisfaction throughout the day. Why? Because intentional action tells your brain, I am in control of my time. I choose how today begins. And when you claim the first 30 minutes of your day, you shift from survival to direction. So how do we do it? Here are 3 powerful practices you can adopt starting tomorrow morning. 1. No phone for the first 30 minutes. This one's hard, but crucial. Your phone is not neutral. It's a portal to everyone else's priorities. Texts, emails, updates, emergencies, algorithms. When you check it first thing, your brain goes into reactive mode. Dopamine surges, cortisol, your stress hormone, rises. And suddenly, your day is not yours anymore. But when you delay checking your phone, even by 30 minutes, you give yourself a gift. Presence. You create space to think your own thoughts, to feel your own emotions, to set your own tone. Try this. Use an actual alarm clock instead of your phone. Place your phone outside your bedroom. Decide in advance what you'll do in those first 30 minutes instead. Breathe, stretch, journal, or just sit quietly. Start small. Even 10 minutes of clarity is better than none. 2. Start with one intentional action. The Stoics believed in starting small but starting strong. Seneca said, "The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately." One of the best ways to ground yourself each morning is to perform one mindful physical action. Something simple, but done with purpose. Make your bed, not because it's a chore, but because it signals, I'm taking responsibility for my space. Drink a glass of water, slowly. Feel the coolness, the nourishment. Hydration is clarity. Sit for 2 minutes in silence. No agenda, just you and your breath. The key isn't what you do, it's how you do it. With presence, with calm, with the quiet strength the Stoics admired. Because when you start your day by choosing your action, you remind yourself, I am not at the mercy of the world. I am a participant in my life. 3. Visualize your ideal day before it starts. This is a game changer. Olympic athletes do it. CEOs do it. Ancient warriors did it. And the Stoics? They practiced it too. Marcus Aurelius began each day by preparing his mind for what might go wrong, so he could meet it with equanimity. That's one form of visualization. But there's another. Visualizing what could go right. Each morning, close your eyes for just 1 minute and picture this. How do you want to feel today? Confident? Calm? Curious? What does your ideal day look like? A productive meeting? A meaningful conversation? A walk in nature? Who do you want to be today? Not what you want to achieve, but how you want to show up. See it, feel it, embrace it. This isn't fantasy. This is mental rehearsal. And your brain, amazingly, responds as if it's real. You're priming your mind, your body, your nervous system to follow a path of intention. Instead of being dragged by your day, you're guiding it. _blank. Let me offer you this final thought. We often think destiny is shaped by massive choices, big wins, life-changing decisions. But most of the time, destiny is shaped by your mornings. Because what you do repeatedly, becomes who you are. The first moments after you wake up are like wet cement, soft, malleable, full of possibility. And what you imprint there, sets. So, don't waste it. Don't surrender your mind to chaos before the sun even rises. Don't reach for your phone before you reach for yourself. Reach inward. Start with silence. Start with strength. Start with something simple, but fully intentional. And day by day, you'll notice, you don't just start your day better. You live better. You lead better. You become better. Not because of some radical overhaul, but because you claimed the quiet power of your mornings. Your destiny isn't out there in the distance. It starts the moment you open your eyes. Let me begin with a simple question. What do you focus on most throughout your day? Is it your goals? Your fears? What's missing? Or what's possible? Because here's the powerful truth. Your brain sees what your mind believes. Have you ever noticed that once you start thinking about something, like buying a red car, you suddenly see red cars everywhere? That's not magic. It's your brain's reticular activating system, a small but powerful network of neurons designed to filter the millions of stimuli you encounter every second. And guess what it filters for? What you focus on. This is called the recognition effect, and it means that when you direct your attention towards something intentionally, your brain starts aligning your perception, choices, and behavior around it. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said it simply: what you nurture in your mind becomes your reality. And now, modern neuroscience is proving it. Your thoughts don't just reflect your life, they shape it. That's why visualization, deliberately imagining your goals with clarity and detail, is not just some positive thinking trend. It's a cognitive strategy that rewires your brain for success. Professional athletes use it. Olympians rehearse every movement in their mind before stepping onto the field. Entrepreneurs picture the launch of their business down to the color of their website. Even pilots practice visual checklists before flying. They're not fantasizing. They're programming. So how can you apply this in your own life? Let's break it down into 3 clear strategies to build your foundation of success through the power of visualization. Blank. Underscore. Blank. 1. Write a clear and vivid scenario for your goal. Most people have goals like, I want to be successful. I want to be happy. But what does that actually look like? Your brain cannot chase fog. It needs images, colors, sensations, something to grasp onto. So here's a challenge. Write down your goal, but not as a list. Write it as a story, a scene, a moment you can step into. Imagine it's already happened. Where are you? What are you doing? Who's with you? What do you feel? Pride? Peace? Power? The more sensory detail, the better. Here's an example. Instead of, I want to be confident, try this. I walk into the meeting room with steady breath and a calm mind. I shake hands firmly. I speak clearly. I'm not trying to impress, I'm expressing what I know. Do you feel the difference? That kind of clarity gives your brain a blueprint. And once you see it, you begin to move toward it, subconsciously and intentionally. Blank. Underscore. Blank. 2. Surround yourself with visual triggers. You've probably heard the phrase, you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That applies not just to people, but to stimuli. If your environment is cluttered, noisy, and full of distractions, It sends your brain one message: chaos. But if your environment is filled with reminders of what matters most, you prime your mind for focus and alignment. This can be as simple as a vision board on your wall with images of your goals, a post-it note on your mirror with a quote that speaks to your mission, your phone wallpaper showing the number you want to hit, or a word like clarity or discipline. These aren't just decorations, they're cognitive anchors. Each time you see them, even briefly, they reinforce your identity. They remind you, this is where I'm going. They help you tune your inner compass. Because let's be honest, life gets noisy. Distractions are everywhere. But when your physical world reflects your mental world, you stay on course. Blank. Underscore. Blank. 3. Create an environment that supports your focus. Even the strongest intention will struggle in a weak environment. If you want to grow a plant, you don't just hope it survives, you give it sun, water, and good soil. Your goals are no different. So ask yourself, is your environment supporting your success, or silently sabotaging it? Are your habits built into your space, or are you always pushing uphill to stay disciplined? Here are a few adjustments you can make today. Designate a focus zone in your home, even if it's just a corner. Keep it clean. Keep it inspiring. No clutter. No distractions. Batch your attention. Use tools like timers or do not disturb modes to protect your deep work hours. Set a rhythm. Light a candle. Play a specific playlist. Or drink a certain tea when you work. Signals that tell your brain, it's time to build. The Stoics believed that virtue wasn't random. It was practiced daily through consistent action. Likewise, success isn't about one big breakthrough. It's about small rituals, repeated consistently, in an environment that supports your evolution. Blank. Underscore. Blank. So here's what I want you to take from this. Clarity creates movement. When you visualize with precision, your mind begins to organize your behavior to match that vision. You start seeing opportunities you used to miss. You speak with more conviction. You make choices that align with who you want to become. It's not about manifesting things out of thin air. It's about aligning your inner world with the external actions that bring your dreams to life. Because when you can see it clearly, you can begin to live it intentionally. And that's when momentum kicks in. So don't just hope for a better life. Picture it, frame it, build it, every day. Let me ask you something. When life hits you with pressure, how do you respond? Do you tense up? Do you lash out? Do you try to control everything around you? Or do you pause and breathe? You see, in every moment of chaos, your breath becomes your anchor. It's the one thing you always have. And yet, it's the first thing we forget. In a high-stakes poker game, the best players aren't always the ones with the best hand. They're the ones who control their breathing. They don't fidget. They don't rush. They breathe, and by doing that, they reveal nothing. Because the moment your breath gets shallow, your tells begin. Your anxiety leaks out. Your focus drifts. Your power? It slips away. Life is no different. When things get heated, an argument, a setback, a moment of uncertainty, the person who stays calm has the upper hand. The Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Be calm but resolute. That is the mark of reason." He ruled an empire under constant threat, and yet, through the practice of breath and awareness. He maintained clarity. He knew, the person who controls their breath controls their mind. Blank. Underscore. Blank. The power of the breath. Modern science now confirms what ancient philosophers practiced centuries ago. Your breath directly affects your nervous system. When you breathe deeply and slowly, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body responsible for relaxation, digestion, and recovery. It lowers your heart rate. It reduces cortisol. It increases clarity. But when you breathe quickly, shallowly, from your chest, you trigger the fight or flight response. This is great if you're running from a bear. Not so great when you're responding to a tense email, a rude driver, or your child melting down at the dinner table. That's why, if you want to regain control, not over others, but over yourself, it starts with the breath. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Strategy number 1. The 4-7-8 breathing technique. This technique has ancient roots in yogic tradition and modern validation in neuroscience and sleep studies. Here's how it works. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds. That's it. Do this cycle 3 times, especially when you feel anxious, angry, or overstimulated. What's happening here? You're slowing your heartbeat, signaling to your brain, we are not in danger. We are okay. You're interrupting the storm. You're shifting from reactivity to deliberate calm. Try it right now, even just once, and notice what changes. Your jaw unclenches. Your shoulders drop. Your thoughts slow down. That's control. Not over the situation, but over how you show up in it. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Strategy number 2. Compassion as a calm anchor. Now let's address something deeper. Why do people lash out in the first place? Why do people raise their voice, lose their temper, or act out? Because often, they're in pain. Someone who's always angry isn't just mean. They're struggling. They may feel unseen, unheard, or unloved. And if you meet fire with fire, you both burn. But if you meet that fire with breath and compassion, you stay in control. That doesn't mean you let people walk over you. It means you refuse to let their chaos pull you into the storm. The next time someone tries to provoke you, ask yourself silently, what pain might they be carrying that I can't see? Then breathe. Respond, if needed, but from clarity, not ego. That's not weakness. That's stoic strength. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Strategy number 3. Let the loud ones lose. There's a saying in Stoicism and in street wisdom alike. The one who yells, loses. The moment you start yelling, you've already given your power away. You've let someone else dictate your energy, your tone, your values. But the one who breathes, the one who speaks slowly, who stays grounded, that's the one who leads. In a world full of shouting, silence becomes power. Calm becomes rebellion. Try this. The next time you're in a heated conversation, take a full breath before responding. Count to 3 in your head. Then speak. Watch how it changes the dynamic. You'll surprise people. You'll confuse them. You'll lead them. And most importantly, you'll earn respect. Because calm people are rare. But when they speak, the world listens. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Let me leave you with this. Life will test you, and you cultivate it with your own 2 hands. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Final reflection. Let's face it. Life will always try to pull us in 100 directions. And in a world addicted to stimulation, the idea of slowing down feels radical. But here's what the Stoics understood. Stillness isn't laziness. It's strength. And action, done with presence, restores that strength. So the next time your mind feels foggy, the next time your emotions feel too loud, the next time you don't know what to think, stop thinking. Start doing. Paint. Write. Chop vegetables. Build something. Doodle nonsense. Let your hands guide you back to yourself. Because clarity doesn't always come from the mind. Sometimes, it starts in the fingers. Let's pause for a moment. Take a deep breath, and ask yourself this one powerful question. What if calm wasn't something you wait for, but something you choose? Every single day? Because the truth is, calm doesn't mean chaos has disappeared. It means you've built the strength to navigate through it. In a world that demands urgency, that glorifies hustle and rewards constant reaction, choosing calm is one of the most radical and powerful decisions you can make. And here's the beautiful part. It's a decision you can make right now. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Throughout this video, we've explored 11 timeless principles from Stoicism, each one a tool for cultivating calm not as an escape, but as a strategy. We began by looking at James Stockdale, who endured 7 brutal years as a prisoner of war. His survival wasn't based on strength or luck, it was rooted in philosophy. In perspective, in his ability to remain calm even when nothing around him was. From there, we uncovered how calmness is not passive, it's a weapon. Like a Formula One driver who doesn't panic when the car skids, but corrects course with precision. You too can train your mind to respond, not react. You've seen how you can't control everything, and how clinging to control leads only to stress. Instead, what if you embraced uncertainty? Practiced gratitude before complaints? Chose to see the good, and filtered out the noise? What if you believed that every morning sets the tone for your future? That the thoughts you feed will shape the reality you experience? That your breath can reset your nervous system, and your hands can restore clarity to your mind? It's all connected, and at the center of it all is your choice. Blank. Underscore. Blank. So, let me ask you directly. What would your life look like if calm became your compass? Not your backup plan, not your emergency brake, but your default direction. Imagine waking up tomorrow and starting your day not with your phone, not with the news, not with stress, but with stillness, with presence, with one clear, calm intention. Imagine facing conflict, not by matching volume with volume, but by breathing, grounding, and standing firm in your values. Imagine how much energy you'd save, how much better you'd sleep, how much clearer your thinking would become, if calm led the way. Now I know, it's easier said than done. You're busy, life is loud, people are difficult, work is demanding. But calm isn't about perfection. It's not about never getting angry or anxious or overwhelmed. It's about creating space between the stimulus and your response. That space is where growth happens. That space is where you get to choose who you are. Blank. Underscore. Blank. The Stoics didn't promise a life without storms. But they did teach us how to become steady within them. Epictetus said it best. It's not what happens to you, but how you respond that matters. Seneca reminded us that he who is brave is free. And Marcus Aurelius, in the middle of leading an empire through war and plague, still found time, each morning, to write to himself. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's the spirit we carry forward. Not to escape the world, but to meet it with a clearer mind, a steadier hand, and a stronger heart. Blank. Underscore. Blank. And so, I invite you to make this declaration today, not to me, but to yourself. Write it in your journal. Speak it aloud. Type it in the comments. I choose calm as the compass that guides me to success. Let that be your reminder, your reset, your return to center, when life pulls you off balance. Let calm lead you to clarity. Let calm lead you to resilience. Let calm lead you to you. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Because when everything around you is spinning, and the noise is deafening, and the pressure is building, the calmest person in the room is always the most powerful. And now, that person is you. Thank you for walking this journey with us. This is not the end, it's just the beginning of your Stoic path. A path not of control, but of composure, not of force, but of focus, not of noise, but of quiet power. So go now, not in haste, but in strength, with calm as your compass. Sparkles ready to reclaim your calm and build unshakable strength? If this video sparked something in you, don't let it fade. Subscribe to the channel for more Stoic wisdom, practical tools, and soul-deep reflections. Leave a comment below with this phrase: I choose calm as my compass. Let's create a community of grounded minds and resilient hearts. And if you know someone who's been feeling overwhelmed by the noise of life, share this video with them. It might be the clarity they've been needing. Until next time, stay steady, stay present, and remember, calm is not weakness. It's your greatest strength. See you in the next one.